man? Welcome back to the channel. We still trucking in J's. I'm Devin. Before I get started, man, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of our subscribers, new and old. We're almost at 3,000. We appreciate y'all taking this ride with us. Just following along the journey as we continue to learn and grow in this trucking business. Y'all hold us to a different standard or kind of force us to operate at a higher standard because we, practice what we preach. We're not going to take cheap freight because we tell y'all not to take cheap freight. So that keeps us motivated to make sure we're, doing the best that we can for the business and fighting for every last dollar. But I do want to jump into something, man, and just kind of want you to think about it. With these diesel prices, how are you doing right now? How's your business doing? Are you thriving or are you just surviving? Honestly, nobody knows exactly what these diesel prices are going to do. If they're going to go higher or if it's going to stay around this time, or if it's going to eventually drop back down. But I challenge you to be up for the challenge and to operate right now as if these are going to be the prices going forward. So I'll kind of tell you what we've been doing differently, or if we've been doing anything differently, or what it's kind of forcing us to do. So stay tuned with the video. I'm going to go ahead and get into that in just a second. At this point, if you've been in the trucking business for 6 months, a year, you should be able to lean on the connections and relationships that you built with these brokers and direct shippers. It's real key to be able to do that because you don't want to have your truck just sitting around and waiting on the diesel prices to go back down, or you definitely don't want to rely on Amazon. And that's kind of been our thing from the beginning, is we knew that getting into this business, we weren't going to just depend on Amazon. Honestly, we didn't even know Amazon Relay existed until we had already started the business and started looking for a truck and applying for our authority. So Amazon was never going to be our number one option or our only option. And I suggest that you do the same, because Amazon is hit or miss. During peak season, of course, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. But throughout the year, it's going to be up and down. As soon as you learn something with Amazon or learn how they do things, they switch it up. So they keep doing that just to make sure that that they're getting these lanes moved for as cheap as possible. So they kind of keep you on your toes that way. So the only thing I can suggest is definitely build those relationships with the brokers and the direct shippers. It only take a couple connections, I promise you. Once you do that, man, your truck will be moving sometimes more than you can even move it. You got to try to be creative on how to get all these loads ran and still stay compliant. So that's the only challenge with that, if you create too many connections. But I promise you, it don't take that many to keep your truck moving, and you'll see a difference in the rates that you're getting, and you'll see, because honestly, the best loads don't even make it to the load board. So imagine you looking at the load board and you see a good load. Imagine what that load would be going for if you had a direct connection with that broker or a direct connection with that shipper. And kind of go back to what I was saying as far as us not getting in the business or not knowing about Amazon Relay until after we had started the business. We found out about that after the fact, and then that's when we started looking at YouTube, and we did see where Demetrius B had made, had a video about the $20,000 in a month. So honestly, it was intriguing. We was like, okay, well that sounds pretty easy. That could be an avenue for us. But we learned quickly by looking at the live videos that he would have, that our market, the Columbia market, he would have it up there and there wouldn't be any loads. So we already knew that it was kind of going to be sporadic with the loads, and that wasn't a reliable option for us. Not how we want to do the business. We didn't want that to be our business structure, or business strategy, to do mainly Amazon. We just want to use Amazon to kind of fill in when we don't have a load already booked, or if we need to come back from somewhere. So that's what we use Amazon for, unless it's peak season. If it's peak season, that actually worked out good for us this year this past year for peak season, with our direct connections with the shippers and the brokers. As that freight started to slow down, of course, Amazon was ramping up for the holidays. So it worked out good. So it kind of balanced out when the shippers and brokers were slow. Amazon picked up the rest of the year when Amazon is kind of sporadic with the loads and the pricing on the loads, because they'll have the loads, they just don't want to pay the money. But then that's when we rely on the connections that we have. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind as well. Also, a reason why we didn't want to just depend on Amazon, I remember having a conversation with Nick and Jamila at the very beginning, and anytime I would say something about, well, Amazon, we can use that to do this, they'd be like, man, we don't want to. They both made it clear. We all kind of came to that conclusion that we don't want Amazon to be our main source or rely on Amazon. And then I remember another conversation I had with Nick. We didn't have a load scheduled for that next day. And at that time I was still working at my job and I was in front of the computer all day, so I would be able to look for loads. I told him, I said, hey, you want me to just put in a postal truck for Amazon or look at Amazon, or you want me to find you a different load off the load board? And he said something that was very important and kind of made me think. He was like, no, I want you to find me a load off the load board, because that way that's a chance that we can create a connection with that broker, or depending on the shipper, what area they're in, we can, man, you just got to kind of feel the shipper out. Hey, is this a load y'all have all the time? Do you always go through this broker? Or is this, just kind of a one-time thing? And you kind of fill them out, man. And that's the key to kind of creating that relationship. And they're like, hey, we let them know, hey, we're local. If you need anything moved, we have 2 straight trucks, and we stay 15 minutes away from here, so we can do that for you. So that's kind of how you create those relationships. Also, when Nick told me that, it really made me think, like, yeah, you're right. Amazon, you can't talk to anybody, not unless you're talking to ROC, which that don't get you anywhere as far as a relationship. With Amazon, you're just looking at the board. You just, depending on when you're looking at it, is when you might see a load come up. You never really know. You can kind of have an idea of when the loads are coming up, but then once you think they change it. But yeah, with Amazon, you're not really creating any type of relationship where you can rely on them or they reach out to you directly, unless you got some kind of inside connection with Amazon, which that'll be another video one day. I think that has happened where they kind of stole a load from me, but I don't have any evidence, so I won't go into that at this time. So we've been getting some emails and some comments about, how are we adjusting now that diesel prices are higher. And honestly, man, it's kind of business as usual, for us, because we've always been fighting to get the highest, dollar per mile that we can get for every load. Even if they say no, we got to at least try to get an extra $50, extra $100, just to kind of get as much money for the business as we can. Of course, you want to have your savings for times like this, but you have to learn how to adapt. So at this point, we're operating like the prices are going to stay this way. One thing it is forcing us to do, which was actually one of our goals for this year anyway, is to become more profitable. We always get good loads when it's with the brokers that reach out to us, or of course the direct shipper. But the loads have been good, and we always factor in how much money it's going to take us to go there and come back, empty. And I think we've been too comfortable with that, relying on or just knowing that we're going to make enough money to cover it, because our goal was to make $300 to $500 a day or more anytime we can. But we've been kind of comfortable deadheading back. But with these diesel prices, that would be silly for us to continue to do that. So that's forcing us, which was already a goal for this year anyway, is to make sure we're getting something back anytime we can, or make sure that we get anything back before we leave that area. Of course, unless Nick got to go to work, something like that, or if I have a pre-scheduled load, we have a pre-scheduled load that we got to get to from our connections. That's really the only downside about the connections that you have, because we hate to turn down a load anytime. So we try to avoid that. Sometimes we have to deadhead to the area that we're going to pick it up, but normally we're able to try to find something, to get to that area. But yeah, what we're implementing is making sure that we're not comfortable with deadheading no more. Diesel prices are too high. We don't know what's going to change from here, whether it's going to go up, whether it's going to stay the same. So we are now operating with minimizing deadhead. So that's what's changed for us. Operation, get all the money you can from these brokers and these shippers, has always been in effect. That's always going to be in effect. But like I said, we're going to be operating here on out like the diesel prices are always going to be high. So that way, we're up for the challenge, man. You never know what you can overcome until you come to an actual crossroads on having to figure it out. So that's what, of course, we're not happy about the prices being this high, but it is helping us to kind of grow as a company to make sure we can overcome these different hurdles that are going to come our way. From what we hear from everybody in the trucking business, you never know what's going to happen. So you got to make sure you stay on your toes when it comes to that. So but yeah, man, we don't know what these diesel prices are going to be, but if we continue to just not deadhead as much as possible, to become more profitable, when the diesel prices go back down, it's going to be up. So we ain't gonna even have to worry about it. The profit's gonna be through the roof, because we are already, taking into account that we want to be more profitable. So we got to cut all the deadheading out, even though we're making money. But the more money we can make, of course, the more goals we can actually reach, and we'll make a video about what our goals are for this year, coming up soon. But I didn't want to come on here and talk y'all head off. Nick and Jamila both say I do a whole lot of talking, but I just want to keep y'all motivated, man. Like I said, y'all do motivate us to be better as a company. So we definitely appreciate y'all for all your comments and sticking in there with us. Any tips and tricks you have for us as well. And also, man, if you're having trouble, with your business, whether you're just getting started, whether you've been in the business for a while, and you got any questions for us, man, we've decided to open up the consultation option. So down in the link below, we do have consultations, 30 minutes for $100 and an hour for $150. Not too much, something light, but some people do need that kind of one-on-one, instead of, replying to a comment, replying to an email, talk back and forth with someone. And honestly, it does take a lot of time to do that, but we do want to give you that consultation option. If it's for you, we do have that option in the link below. Once again, $100 for 30 minutes and an hour cost you $150. We're open book. We're going to have two options as far as who you speak with. If you are just getting into the business, Jamila is going to help you as far as setting your business up from start to, actually starting to run low. She'll be able to help you with that. If you are interested in more about the day-to-day business, the box trucking, me and Nick will be available for those consultations. So definitely reach out to us. No, that doesn't mean we're going to stop providing free content. We're going to always do that. But from what we've noticed based on the emails, it's been requested for mentorships as well. I don't see us doing mentorships at this time, because we just feel like that needs to come with more, more experience, more accomplishments, for us to be able to, offer mentorship. And honestly, we just don't. Our main goal is our business at this time, our trucking business and building our trucking business. So we will offer consultations. We'll still be providing free content, but if you need that hands-on, kind of one-on-one interaction, you do have that option for the consultations. All right, man. It's going to be the end of the video. One more thing before I let you go. I know I said it before, said it early in the video. Don't depend on Amazon alone. I think that's in the Bible. Man should not depend on Amazon alone. Get you some connections with some brokers and some direct shippers, man. It'll make a world of a difference. You won't have to worry about keeping your truck moving. The only problem you'll have at that point is making sure you're available, for all the connections that you have. So that's a good problem to have, man. Stay safe out here on these roads. Don't be stressed out, man. Don't let these diesel prices get to you. Just get all the money you can from the brokers, and just make sure you know your cost per mile, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the video now. Till next time, Truckin' and J's. Peace.